Welcome to Knife Thoughts. This video is going to be on this knife, and this is the Civivi Appalachian Drifter. And so right off the bat, I want to say I am going to say Appalachian the whole time. I don't live in Appalachia, but I live close to it, and that's how I've always said it, and I'm going to stick with it. I know sometimes it is said that the correct way is Appalachia. That's fine. I'm going to say Appalachia. So this is the Appalachian Drifter, and this is a knife that I've had for a while and wanted to make a review of because I think that it's a knife that kind of flew under the radar. And so this is a double detent slip joint. So you can see you can flip it open, but there's no lock. So this is not a liner lock or a button lock like Civivi often makes. It is a non-locking knife. So it's a little bit strange. Double detent slip joints are not really as popular, I think, as normal traditional slip joints, and then certainly not as popular as a locking knife. But it does allow for the knife to be non-locking, but one-hand opening. So you have this really nice action where you can flip it with this, what I would call an inline flipper. It is on the back, but it's not sticking out of the back, it's on kind of the top. I really like inline flippers, and it works well with this double detent because you get that good kind of flick, that thwack, and it opens up and disappears. So you can see, you don't see that flipper with the blade open. So as compared to a more traditional flipper, something like this hinderer, you know, that flipper sticks out the front and then sticks out the back when closed. So what that allows for is it allows this knife to have a really traditional kind of silhouette. So if you look at it in this open position, it looks really traditional. You've got the pivot, which doesn't look like a screw, it just looks like a pivot, and then you have one screw down here. So I think if you looked at this knife and didn't know what it was, at least from this side, you might think that it was a traditional slip joint. But then if you look at the other side here, you've got the pocket clip, and of course it is a flipper. So I think it's a really cool thing that blends, you know, traditional in its styling. It's got this really kind of classic long swoopy clip point. It's got this classic trapper style handle, but then it has the clip and the one-hand opening and one-hand closing. So it's kind of in between a lot of things, and I think that that's part of why it flew under the radar somewhat. But I think it's a really good knife. It's just really fun. It's a great little size for EDC. You can really get a lot done with this. And the detent, obviously, you know, if you spine whack it, it's gonna fail. But for normal daily use, it works absolutely fine. You know, it feels different than a traditional slip joint because once that detent breaks, it's pretty much free. But it's a pretty solid detent, and certainly enough for, you know, opening your mail, cutting your lunch, your bag of chips at lunch or something open, you know, your normal use. I think it works great. People use slip joints for everything for a long time. So I think that it's plenty for EDC, most people's EDC use. And certainly it's a great blade length. So I'll give you a comparison to the Civivi Elementum. This is the classic Elementum, and you can see they're very similar in their size. So, you know, I think that this also is a good option if you do either need to or want to have a non-locking knife for legal or like cultural reasons. It's not something that I have to worry about, but you know, variety is the spice of life, so I always like trying out different types of knives. And again, I think that this is different and really cool. So the action is great on it, as you've seen. Flips open. You can also flip it closed, which is a fun feature. You know, you can close it without having your hand in the way of the blade at all. Flip it open, flip it closed, really easily, and it makes it pretty fidgety also. So, you know, you can flip it open and closed and, you know, have some fun with it. I think it just looks good. There's also a green version. This is the tan micarta, and it is a micarta handle, you know, micarta handle and S45, I'm sorry, not S45, S35 VN steel. So it's a good steel also. These are discontinued. They made a different version of it that I believe was a liner lock. So that was probably in answer to people wanting it to be locking. But I believe this version is discontinued. And so honestly, I think it's something worth checking out certainly if you like double to 10 slip joints. But if you want a modern knife that you can open with one hand, close with one hand, and has a pocket clip, but that has that traditional look. It really does look like a traditional knife to me, at least from this side. It looks like a Lanny's clip, really. So I have been enjoying this knife a lot. I think it's a unique, kind of an interesting little knife that's a different option, and also just really well made, like all Civivi knives. If you are familiar with Civivi, you know that they're super consistent and make their knives really nicely. If you're not familiar, let's try that again. If you're not familiar with Civivi, they make knives that are a good value and just really well made. So great little knife, fun, different, and allows you to have a really traditional looking knife in your pocket, but have it clipped to your pocket and be able to pull it out and open it quickly. So this is the Civivi Appalachian Drifter. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, click the bell and select all, and check out my website, knifethoughts.com, where I post articles on knives like this and knife related topics. And last but not least, as always, don't forget to go out and do good.